Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Megan Yvonne. Thanks for tuning in. So today I'm going to share with you my crock pot chicken recipe. Right here I'm just using some vinegar and I'm going to add some water to that bowl to clean my chicken. I know it's controversial about whether or not you should clean your chicken and the heat kills the bacteria and so on and so forth, but that's how I was taught, and it's just something like I can't see myself stop doing. Like, I need to clean my chicken and I need to clean out my surfaces after as well. So right there you saw me, I'm just spraying a little bleach and I'm adding my water to my bowl, but I'm going to let that bleach sit for a second as I'm adding my water, and I'm going to let my chicken set to pull some of the dirt and the debris off of the chicken before I go in and start manually and visibly inspecting the chicken to make sure that there's nothing unwanted on there. So right before I did set the bowl down in the sink, I did take some time and I did spray down the sink, and I didn't film that part, but just know that it was done. I wasn't sitting my chicken on top of bleach. So right here I'm just going in, and because I didn't want to touch my knife with my gloved hand that had the raw chicken matter on there, I was just taking my glove on and off. But I'm just inspecting my chicken, and then I'm going to change my gloves again. So yes, I do use a lot of gloves in the process, but I'm gonna change my gloves again and empty out that water and sanitize my space. I also like to keep a plastic bag where I can dispose of all my trash, and then I can wrap that up with any raw materials, raw chicken stuff, and I can throw that in the trash, but it's still wrapped up and contained. Now I'm going to go in and season my chicken. I'm going to use some black pepper, some garlic salt, some onion powder, some paprika, and some cumin. So I didn't use any regular salt because I was already using the garlic salt, so I didn't add salt on top of salt. Now I'm going to go in and add just about a splash. I know these aren't exact measurements, but I'm going to add a splash of avocado oil. I'm using avocado oil because it does have a high smoke point, so I'm using that, and I'm just using it really to just help with browning my chicken. So I wanted to ensure that it browned on each side. As you'll see later, I did go back in and add some more paprika just to help with the browning process. Now I'm going to switch gears to my crock pot. So I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of butter. Again, you can use less than that. And as you can see a little later on, I'm going to go in and actually chop that butter in half. And I'm adding some celery and half of my onion. So this recipe calls for a half of onion, so I'm using half of that, so a quarter of a full onion. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to transfer my chicken from my cast iron pot into the crock pot so it can finish cooking. So again, the goal was just to brown it a little bit and get some of the chicken flavor into my cast iron pot, and I'm going to show you why that's important in a bit. Then I'm going to go in with my chicken broth, and I'm going to pour a little bit, not to submerge the chicken. I just wanted a little bit to cover the bottom of the pan. I did chop my baby potatoes off of camera, and I started to boil them because I was unsure if I was going to make mashed potatoes to go with this or just add the potatoes in, but I ended up choosing to use half to make mashed potatoes for another dinner, and then to use the other half for the recipe. So right here, this is why it's important for the remnants from the chicken, me browning my chicken, I did add some flour, not a whole lot, and then my pan was still heated, and I added some room temperature water into my pan, and I'm going to use that to make my gravy. So I know it's looking kind of like, what is that? What are you making? But I'm going to make my gravy with the remnants that I had left over from, frying my chicken earlier. Well, not frying, actually just browning it on the one side. So I'm just going in, I'm trying to let that flour cook down, and I'm just stirring my pot and just stirring that flour down to make sure it's no lumps or anything in the gravy. So as you can see, it's starting to take shape and it's starting to form a nice like rich color. I did go back in and I added all the same seasonings that I had used previously to season my chicken, and then I used the other half of my onion. I just roughly chopped that, probably a little less than half, to go in to make my onion gravy. So I'm going to go in and I'm gonna let those onions cook within the gravy, and again it's developing this nice rich color, and I'm just stirring the onions in and letting them cook as well. I did go back in and add some more water, and this is again to your preference. I didn't want my gravy to be really thick, but you can add as much or as little water, just depending on if you want your gravy to be really thick, or if you want it to be more of a runny or loose texture. So I did speed this up, but I just continue to just let my gravy cook and cook down those onions as well, so it could flavor the gravy really nicely and have a really rich flavor profile. I went in and I added my potatoes off camera, and I added it so that it could cook in with my chicken, and as you can see, the chicken had started to really cook down, and it was, falling off the bone, and it was really nice and tender. Again, because we're using the crock pot and chicken, it didn't take that long to really cook. I was just inspecting it and looking over it. I didn't want my potatoes to be really mushy, so I did boil them, but then I just let them continue to cook in the crock pot. So here it is. I did scoop some out, and I served my dinner in these small cast iron like Dutch ovens. It does help because this is more of a rich meal, just with like portions and everything. And then I went on over to where my gravy was, and I still had that on the stove. At first I was going to combine them, but then I decided against it because I wanted to drizzle the gravy on top. So I did make a side of green beans with that, some string beans, and I did that off camera as well. But now I'm just using a ladle to go ahead and spoon some of that gravy on top, and it smelled delicious and it tasted even better. So here is the completed dish. I was so pleased. It turned out so good. It was some onion gravy, some chicken, some potatoes, and some green beans. And yeah, it tasted great. So thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and share, as well as hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.